This is Colin from Joint Dynamics again, and in Men's Health Month, we're talking about all things men's health. You may be surprised to find out that men have pelvic floors as well. Everyone's familiar with Kegel exercises, and women after childbirth are encouraged to keep their pelvic floor really robust. Men have a pelvic floor too, so you may want to know what a pelvic floor actually is. So, here's a pelvis I have handy, and running between the back of your pelvis, so this is the base of your spine here, and the front of your pubic bone, is you have some flat bands of muscles that run like this. And they're unusual because most muscles in the human body run up and down, but these are flat bands of tissue that provide a lot of different support and enhancement for the abdomen in general. So everything inside your abdomen presses down, and effectively it needs a base to support it. And actually it provides a good strong base for your bladder and all of the other organs above you. The other thing it does is it provides sphincters. Now sphincters are basically openings that close and open and allow fluid to move through. And it regulates things like your semen, it regulates things like your urine and your fecal matter really. So it's really important for your kind of genitourinary system to have a good strong pelvic floor. It also helps with your sex life. And this is really important for guys because it helps with the strength of your erection, it helps with your ejaculation, and generally it helps with your enjoyment and most likely your partner's enjoyment of sex as well. So it's a really important system. So as you know, the pelvic floor has a lot of very important functions, but sometimes it can go wrong and there are some symptoms that go with that. So if you imagine that the pelvic floor is there to provide integrity to things like your urinary system and your ability to have sex, if it's not very strong, those sphincters that we talked about can't control the fluids in your body as well as they could. So you end up with things like urinary incontinence, fecal incontinence, and basically where you can't control the output of those fluids. So people experience leaking and they experience, basic discomfort about going outside because they're put under a lot of risk from this pelvic floor weakness, which will come about when they jump, when they run, when they do anything where the pelvic floor has any extra load to it. So certainly you might notice that this is a potential problem for you, and we know that 5% of all men in the world at any one time will have a urinary incontinence problem, and as you get older, this generally gets worse. Conversely, what happens if your pelvic floor gets really tight is you lose some other abilities as well. So a man can't feel his pelvic floor if it's very tight, and it will affect things like his ability to maintain an erection. For example, the muscles of the pelvic floor's job is to stop blood from backflowing from the penis during sex. But if it's really, really tight, often the blood can't get in there, and you end up with not being able to maintain a good erection. And again, this goes to some psychological problems as well, but there can often be a physical cause for erectile dysfunction. Also, premature ejaculation is linked to a hyperactive pelvic floor, and then urge incontinence where you go to the toilet but you actually can't go, but you feel like you have to go and you run to get there, has been linked to a very tight pelvic floor. Also, for some strange reason that we're really not that sure about, is that men experience very strange symptoms around their pelvis and abdomen when their pelvic floor is really tight. They can have strange pain, so you can have pain in your penis, pain in your testicles without really knowing why, and often this can be linked into the pelvic floor. So what happens if you're experiencing any of these symptoms? Obviously your first port of call is your medical practitioner, so you need to see your GP and have them check you out, and maybe you need to see a urologist as well. But after that, a men's health physiotherapist can help regain the integrity of the pelvic floor. If it's weak, we can help you get it strong. If it's too tight, we can help loosen it for you. We can help teach you how to manage symptoms as well. So a physiotherapist should be high on your list of dealing with any of these pelvic floor issues. So on the next video, we're going to be looking at the pelvic floor via ultrasound. We'll see it contract and relax, and we'll give you a couple of key pointers for exercises that will help maintain the strength and integrity of your pelvic floor. To make sure you don't miss this video, follow us at Joint Dynamics.